The law of diminishing marginal returns. Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important laws in economics, perhaps even one of the foundational pillars of all economic theory. We're discussing the law of diminishing marginal returns. Let's understand what it means, why it happens, and how it looks both in numbers and on graphs. What is total product? Let's start at the beginning. Total product, which we denote as TP from the words total product, is simply the total quantity of output that a firm produces. It's everything combined. For example, if we have an orange orchard with 3 workers, and together they produce 2,600 kilograms of oranges, then the total product is 2,600 kilograms. Everything that comes out of the production process together, that's the total product. Now, pay attention to an important point. When we talk about a production function, we describe the relationship between the number of workers and the total product. In other words, how much will we produce if we hire 1 worker, how much if we hire 2, 3, and so on. This is our basic tool for analyzing production. What is marginal product? Now let's move on to the second concept, which is key to the whole story, marginal product. Marginal product, which we denote as MPL from marginal product of labor, is the additional output gained from adding 1 more worker. In other words, how much more do we produce thanks to this extra worker? How do we calculate it? It's very simple. Take the total product with the new worker and subtract the total product without the new worker. That difference is the marginal product. Let's take an example from an orange orchard. Suppose an orange producer operates an orchard and has the following data. The first worker produces 1,200 kilograms of oranges. This is both the total product and the marginal product for that worker, because before him there was nothing. When adding the second worker, total product rises to 2,000 kilograms. So the marginal product of the second worker is 2,000 minus 1,200, which is 800 kilograms. Third worker. Total product rises to 2,600. Marginal product, 600 kilograms. Fourth worker, total product 3,000. Marginal product, 400. Fifth worker, total product 3,200. Marginal product, 200. Sixth worker, total product 3,300. Marginal product, 100. Seventh worker, total product 3,350. Marginal product, 50. Eighth worker, total product 3,380. Marginal product, 30. What do we see here? Now look at the marginal product numbers, 1,200, 800, 600, 400, 200, 100, 50, 30. What's happening? The marginal product keeps decreasing. Every additional worker we add contributes less and less to output. This is exactly the law of diminishing marginal returns. Note an important point, all the workers are identical. It's not that the 8th worker is worse than the first. All workers have the same skills, the same motivation. So why do they produce less? Not because they're worse workers, but because of their position within the production process. Why does marginal product decrease? So why does this happen? The explanation is simple and intuitive. In the short run, we have one fixed factor of production that we cannot change. In our example, the fixed factor is the orchard itself, the land, the trees, the equipment. It's fixed, it doesn't grow. What changes is the number of workers. Now think about it this way, when there is 1 worker in a large orchard, he has plenty of space, can work on the most productive trees, faces no interruptions, and produces a lot. When a second worker is added, there's still enough space, but they have to share equipment, maybe wait for each other by the ladder. The marginal product is already lower. When we get to the 5th or 6th worker, the orchard starts to get crowded. Workers interfere with each other, step on each other's toes, wait in line for equipment, work on less productive trees. Each additional worker still adds something, but less and less. Think of another example, from a printing house. There's one printing machine, and we add workers. The first worker operates the machine and produces 1,000 books. The second worker helps, prepares materials, clears finished books, and even increases production to 2,200, so the marginal product is 1,200. But from the third worker on, the machine is already running at full capacity. Additional workers can only do auxiliary tasks, so their contribution gets smaller and smaller. At some point, if you keep adding workers, they actually get in each other's way and can reduce output. This is called negative marginal product. The central idea is that when one factor of production is fixed, whether it's land, a machine, or any physical capital, adding more units of the variable factor, in our case workers, leads to diminishing marginal product. It's not about the quality of the workers, it's a structural feature of the production process. What does this look like on a graph? Let's talk about how this looks visually, because graphs help us understand this much better. The total product graph, on the x-axis we have the number of workers, and on the y-axis the total product. What do we see? At first, the curve rises steeply because each worker adds a lot. But as we add more workers, the curve starts to flatten out, it rises more and more slowly. Why? Because each additional worker contributes less and less. The curve keeps rising as long as marginal product is positive, but it rises at a decreasing rate. And if we reach the point where marginal product turns negative, the curve actually starts to fall. Now the marginal product graph, again, the x-axis is the number of workers, and the y-axis is the marginal product. What do we see? A curve that slopes downward from top to bottom. It starts high, around 1,200, and gradually falls to 800, 600, 400, 200, 100, and so on. This is a decreasing curve, and this downward slope is exactly the law of diminishing marginal returns. There is a direct relationship between these two graphs. When marginal product is high, the total product curve is steep. When marginal product is low, the total product curve is flat. And when marginal product reaches zero, total product reaches its maximum. Why is this law so important? The law of diminishing marginal returns is fundamental in economics, and without it, almost nothing in production theory can be understood. Here are some reasons why it's so central. First, it explains why production costs rise. If each additional worker produces less but costs the same wage, then the cost of producing each additional unit goes up. This is called rising marginal cost, and we'll learn more about it later when we discuss the supply curve. Second, it explains why a producer won't hire infinite workers. At some point, the contribution of the additional worker is no longer worth the wage paid, and the producer stops hiring. This forms the basis for the decision on how many workers to employ. Third, without this law, a single producer with a small plot of land could feed the whole world just by adding more and more workers. Obviously, that's not realistic. The law of diminishing marginal returns explains why more land, more factories, more equipment are needed to significantly increase production. Summary. So let's summarize. We learned that total product is the total quantity produced, and marginal product is the addition from one more worker. The law of diminishing marginal returns says that when one factor of production is fixed, like land or a machine, each additional worker contributes less and less to output. We saw this in the numbers from the orange orchard and printing machine examples, and we saw how it looks on graphs, a total product curve that flattens, and a marginal product curve that declines. This law is the foundation for understanding production costs, hiring decisions, and the construction of the supply curve, which we will study next. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lecture.